I am Payal, your own study abroad expert. In this video, we would understand the format of the GMAT exam, and we will also try to understand how you should prepare for this exam. Now, GMAT, so what is the full form? Graduate Management Admission Test. So this exam is conducted by a governing body, GMAT, and through this exam, you're being tested on various skills like logical skills, analytical skills, then your critical thinking skills, etc. So this is a prestigious exam that you need to write if you want to do a management program from any B school, be it you can also do a management program from schools like ISB or IM Bangalore in India that would need a GMAT score. Or if you want to study abroad and you want to do a management program from a prestigious business school, then you need to write this exam. This is a prerequisite in the admission process. So while you are going ahead with your application process, there are multiple things that you need to spend time on. You need to write resume, you need to um, write essays, and you need to prepare your letter of recommendation. So it's very important that you make a study plan for GMAT exam and how you want to prepare for it early, so that you're not on a condensed timeline and you do not compromise on your scores. So as we know that the total score of GMAT is 800, and you could get anything between 200 to 800. And if you get something above 700, 710, it's a pretty decent score to get into a good university. So these scores are valid for 5 years. That means you should utilize these scores to get into your dream university within this time frame. So an important tip that you should take care of while you're preparing for this exam is know your test sections properly, and you should also know how to attempt these kind of questions. So GMAT is a multiple choice, computer based, and a computer adaptive exam. Now what do you mean by computer adaptive? Which means that if you get an easy question and you're not able to answer, then the next question would be easier than that. So the questions are going to be based on your caliber, and the computer is going to adapt the kind of questions it gives you based on your skill set and your caliber and accuracy as well. But that does not mean that if you're getting those easier questions correct, you will get an equal score to somebody who's getting the difficult questions correct. Obviously your score would lower down, and if you're able to answer an easy question, then the next would be a little harder than that, and if you're able to answer that, the next would be even harder than that. So that's how the computer adapts itself according to the difficulty level, according to your caliber, and that is why it's called computer adaptive exam. So if you want to get a good score, anything above 700, you have to get those harder questions correct so that you get more points on that. Now let's try to understand the format of the exam. You have analytical writing, assessment. It has one task and it is for 30 minutes. So this basically tests on your ability to, how you think critically and communicate clearly, whether you're able to communicate your points, to the examiner, and whether you're able to address the topic that you're given for the argument essay correctly. The next question type is the quantitative reasoning section, where you will have to answer 31 questions in 62 minutes. And this tests on your ability to solve the quantitative problems, and your ability to interpret information from graphical data. And you get two different kind of questions here. You get problem solving kind of questions, and you get data sufficiency kind of questions. So the problem solving questions are based on various concepts of mathematics that you've learned in your junior classes. All the questions would be based on arithmetic, algebra, some concepts of geometry, data analysis, etc. And your data sufficiency would also have questions from these portions only. But through this question format of data sufficiency, you're being tested whether you have that ability to understand whether the data that you're given is sufficient enough to arrive to a unique answer or not. So it's not important to get an answer. It's just important to understand whether it is feasible to get a unique answer or not. So be very careful when you are answering your questions on problem solving, which are multiple choice questions, you will have to mark the correct answer. But when you're talking about data sufficiency, you'll have to be very careful. You'll have to mark your options based on your inference that whether the data is enough for you to get a unique answer. So the next section is verbal reasoning. So in this, you will get 65 minutes to answer 36 questions. And this is an important section. You will be tested on your reading comprehension, critical reasoning, and grammatical skills. So your critical reasoning section basically tests on your critical thinking ability, and whether you can make sense of the arguments, and there'll be a lot of questions based on inferences, whether the information given is enough to deduce um, what is given. So the next question type in verbal reasoning is reading comprehension, and it tests on your ability whether you can understand the words, the statements, the logical relationship between between different statements given. And most of the questions that you would get in the exam would ask you on whether you can find the main idea, the supporting idea, or which of the options would help you find an inference or deduce some kind of logical relationship. So that's how these questions are based. The next question type is sentence correction in the verbal reasoning section, which tests on your two important aspects of language proficiency. It tests on your correct expression, whether your sentences are grammatically and structurally sound. And the next is effective expression, whether the sentence which is formed gives a clear expression, it gives a clear meaning or an idea. So these are two aspects which are being tested through your sentence correction question type, which covers all the concepts of grammar, and and make sure that the sentence that you form is grammatically and parallelly correct, and it is logical and has a meaning as well. Now, let's talk about integrated reasoning. Integrated reasoning is for about 30 minutes, and there are 12 questions. So you have different question types here. You have multi-source reasoning, table analysis, two-part analysis, and graphic interpretation. So the first question type in integrated reasoning is multi-source reasoning, where you could get information in the form of text, or graphs, or pie charts, or table. So here your information is picked up from multiple resources, and then you're asked the questions where you will have to deduce from the information given. You have to use the inferences and arrive at the correct answer. Then you have table analysis, where you'll be given the information in the form of a spreadsheet, and using that data in the table, you will have to answer your questions. Then you have two-part analysis, which will combine your data in the form of two different formats. It could be text with a graph, or it could be a table with a graph, or anything. So, and you will have to use both the parts to answer your questions. Then you have graphic interpretation, where you will be using different pie charts, or maybe line graphs, and you will have to extract the data from the charts that you're given and answer your questions. So remember, do not use your personal knowledge and do not make assumptions. It happens a lot of times that the information that we get is is quite common, and you probably have a lot of knowledge on that, but do not use your personal knowledge. Do not make assumptions. Answer your question based on only what you can extract from the data which is given in the question. So that's very, very important. Now, your scores of integrated reasoning are not added in your overall GMAT scores, but yes, they are very important, because that really helps the examiner to understand how brilliantly or how articulately you can extract the information, and you can draw inferences, and come to some conclusions and arrive at answers. So it's a very important section though. So there are a few important tips that I would like to give you. as you're preparing for GMAT. Number one, do not get stuck on a single question. A lot of times it happens that you get a question that you are aware of, and or probably it's from some topic that you've always loved to practice, but it's quite possible that you're not able to answer that particular question that moment. So don't get into that ego, and do not get stuck on one particular question. Time management is very important. Go ahead. Do not lose out on time. So in fact, the next important tip is, as you identify your weaknesses, by doing multiple tests, which are based on the exact GMAT user interface, the examination pattern, you'll be given, data analytics that will help you analyze your weak areas. So work on your weak areas, spend more time on your weak areas, and if you have some, strengths or strong areas, then make it even stronger. And so that is very important, so that you're confident on that particular area as well. Now, as I just mentioned, time management is very, very important. So just try to use some, visual literacy, which means that as you, look at the charts, you should be able to quickly extract the data and go ahead. And you do not waste a lot of time reading the data, understanding it, because, time is a very critical component. So I hope you got a good idea on the GMAT exam, how you should go ahead with the preparation and what's the format of the exam. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel till now, do not forget, subscribe to us today, and we would help you, get your dream score in the GMAT exam. We offer a lot of exhaustive materials, and all trained tutors who would train you on various varied concepts of the exam. So we are here to realize your dreams, to help you fulfill all your international dreams, and help you with the end-to-end university admission process as well. So like and share this video with all your friends, and if you have any comments, please feel free to drop it in the comment section. And if you want us to make a video on any topic, do not hesitate, and we'll get back to you with the video as soon as possible. So stay tuned in with us and subscribe to us right now for all the latest updates and lots of information on various courses, universities, exams, etc. Thank you.